Hello, and welcome to On the Couch. I'm Emily Vender.
And I'm Tom Viola. To start off our show today, we're here with features editor Justin Decker and ads manager Dan Wasserman from The Wit. Hey guys.
Welcome
How you
to
guys
the
doing
show.
today? Yeah, welcome. So can you guys describe your positions in a little more detail for people who aren't so familiar with how a newspaper is created?
Sure thing. So I'm the features editor. I manage our explanatory section. Sorry, can we? That was fast.
That's okay. No.
All right. Well, I'm the features editor, so I manage the features section, which is our enterprise stories, kind of our videos, and a few of our less hard news stories.
Okay.
I'm the ads manager, so I get the ads that are in each week's paper and get the.
Yeah, it happens. It happens.
It's a little hard to describe, I guess, right? I mean, you guys do I guess so much of the paper. I mean, I know you guys have been. I know you've been around. Both of you have been around for 4 years working on the paper. I mean, that's just incredible.
Yeah, I started as a freshman. I was a staff writer, and then I became the assistant features editor, and then I was the news editor, and then I moved over to features again.
How long ago did you realize you were interested in this field?
When I was in high school, I actually was the editor-in-chief of the newspaper there, and that was kind of, we wrote a few stories about how the school was changing and how it wasn't really in the best interest of a few students, and we did a story on the bus system, and that was kind of like my journalism epoch, oh, well, if we write about this, people will hear it and it can change things. So that was that.
Oh, yeah. When did you realize that you wanted to write for The Wit and be a part of the great team over there?
I did it in high school and I really liked it. And when I got here, I wanted to get involved again. So I asked, and they needed someone, and that's how I got here today.
So it's like an easy transition for you, going right from high school paper right to college. That's awesome. That's amazing. You guys have been around for so many years. I think since 1938, you guys have been around. I know you guys won many awards. Can you talk more about what kind of awards you guys have gotten over the past few years?
Yeah, so we go for the Gracie Awards. I actually think it's wrong. Oops. Yeah, so we get awards for our layout. If you see the papers here, everything that we kind of, are we allowed to do this?
That's okay. Yeah, absolutely. Show us. Yeah, absolutely. We'll talk more about the actual paper themselves later in our interactive segment, but you can show us, if you want to briefly describe the awards and stuff like that. Go for it. Absolutely.
I wish I had one that had an award on it.
It's okay. Totally fine.
Yeah, but yeah, we get awards for kind of what our layout is for the week. Last year we won one award for the feature section, one for news. We did the report on the water in the pipes, the lead in the pipes at Rowan.
Oh wow, yeah, that was a huge thing.
And
yeah,
we broke that story. So
wow, that's amazing. Yeah, I remember that. That was a crazy time. It was terrible, but yeah.
And I know you guys have people in and out joining The Wit. So what are the qualifications to join?
So you need to at least have a 2.5 GPA to join. The first 3 articles you write, you will be a contributor, and then after that you'll be recognized as a staff writer. And then we also do take on assistants to the editor positions. And then you will actually have to run in an election to become an editor. Right now, I think we have about maybe over 100 students running for us right now. So,
That's really great.
That's incredible. Yeah. I know not a lot of people know about what you guys go through. So can you describe the process that it takes from going from writing an article for the paper? So you go from reporting to print. How does that happen? What's the process of that?
Well, it all starts with an idea, and then you kind of embellish on that idea, and you kind of figure out, all right, who can I talk to better explain what I want to tell people? So a few weeks ago, I wrote a story about the competitions they're having in the marketplace cafeteria.
Yeah.
And so I reached out to the coordinator for the cafeteria, Elizabeth Jordan, and I said, I want to write a story about one of your events going on. And she said, you should come to our event next week, which is Profs versus Food. And so students would partake in an eating contest, and then they'd down a 22-ounce hamburger in a matter of 5 minutes. And that was, yeah. And it was really cute. So I wrote the story, I took photos, and the guy who ended up winning, I interviewed him right afterwards, and he was like, yeah, I finished that thing, and I'm still hungry.
That's funny. Is there a certain mindset you have to write in? Do you have to prepare yourself in a certain setting or something to get in the mood to write?
Yeah, well, we do write in AP style, but if you want to set like a tone for your article, it really depends on A, what section you're writing, and then B, what kind of story you want to tell. For news writing, it's very different than feature writing. So feature writing, you can tell like a profile, and that's very colorful language, versus news writing, which is here are the facts, here's what happened, here's what you can possibly do to change it if the story kind of allows it. And then there's arts writing, which is arts and entertainment. We do reviews for that. We have our opinion editorial section, which is columns, and we also have positions for photographers, but they don't do much writing.
Oh, well, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. You guys have been on for so long. How many? Do you guys know how many? Do you guys, because you got so many articles, I'm trying to figure out the right way to say this. How have you gotten is there a particular article by the Wit over the past few years that you've gotten a lot of praise for, a lot of negative feedback from? Any big moments that the Wit has experienced in terms of its papers?
The one I can recall would probably just be it was a couple months actually where we covered the situation with the lead in the water at school. Like I said, we broke that story, and it was tricky because the thing is we put the article out online first, and we missed a few details, and so we had to go back in and change it almost 10 minutes after we published it online. And then over the months, we just got more and more information, and so it became this series of stories that we just were publishing online and then in the paper, and it was interesting to see because that's a story where people need to be updated almost immediately, and they can't wait for the newspaper to come out every Thursday. So I remember trying to get those articles up online as fast as possible. And then just seeing the response from, people online, the comments, and just it just goes to show what journalism can do when done right.
Yeah, wow.
Absolutely, yeah.
And is there any advice you would give to younger writers now, something that you would go back and fix from your previous time of writing?
Yeah. If I could tell myself when I started, I would just say, pay attention to the news, just take in everything, and also just read. There is no other way to really get around it. If you want to be a better writer, just read more.
Yeah, wow.
Absolutely, cool, awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Stay tuned for a profile video of a professor created by Justin Decker, and then we'll be joined again by Justin and Dan, so stay with us.
When I was a child, I remember my father and also my mother knew some basic origami, and they showed me how to paper fold some standard origami creations like the frog, basic origami crane, and from that, I really liked it at that age, and so I knew how to make those two things, and I'd fold those things, but then What happened, though, is I reached a level of origami, I guess what you'd say, interest or competence or expertise, and then it sort of leveled out. But about maybe 20 years ago, a very interesting thing happened, and it was called the internet. And that just opens up a whole other level of information for people on anything, and for me it happened to be origami. So I saw online what other origami people were doing. I saw what papers were available to use. I saw how different models can be created and made on a high level. But on the internet, you can, in a virtual way, find all kinds of people and other information, about it. So that's, I guess, when I really started to get into it.
Welcome back. So we just heard from Rowan's newspaper, The Wit, and now we'll be diving a little bit deeper. So tell us a little bit about that video clip about the origami and how the professor did that. And
So that was actually a really interesting story. We got an email from that professor's wife, actually, and she said, "My husband does origami. I just want to let you know he could be a very interesting story person to write about." And then I assigned a writer to cover him and just kind of like ask him a few questions, and we wrote it as a profile. So we just, talked about like what he does at Rowan, but also what are his hobbies. And it just happened to be origami. The writer who I assigned to that story is Andrew Turco, and he's now working for Philadelphia Magazine.
wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, and so I came along and brought my camera and just shot that little clip, and we just kind of put the article up online and then had the video at the top. And that was probably one of the best videos we made last semester.
Yeah, wow.
Wow.
And origami is
That's
such an
amazing.
art. It really is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
honestly, it is. And I see we have some additions of the wit here with us today, as
Yeah.
shown before.
We brought some for you guys.
Interesting.
Yeah, look at that, the front page. Your good old birds.
Congratulating
Super
the Eagles
Bowl.
on their Super
Yeah.
Bowl
Yeah,
win.
wow.
It's pretty nice, pretty cool. So do you guys want to talk about how the paper itself is structured?
So we actually made some changes from last year to this year. What we did, and this is an issue from last semester. That's what you're holding there is last week's issue. But what we originally had last year, we would have the front page kind of look like this, except a few of the photos would be in color. And this year we decided to do more of a magazine style and bring just more color and just more vibrance to the front page, just to see what else you can find inside and just kind of just make it more artful. And I think it does look a
Yeah, I
lot
like
better.
the color. It really brings like more attention to like the page and stuff. And you do the ads.
Yeah.
So where do you get like how do you choose your ads and like which certain ones go in certain places?
So I've gotten contacted a couple times. We also go around to like the local Glassboro area and ask if any businesses want to advertise. We have some like community colleges that'll advertise for like winter or summer classes so you can graduate on time and get caught up. And then like we'll have Rowan departments want to advertise for their like events they might be having as well.
Oh wow, that's really cool.
Yeah, that's
That is
awesome.
cool.
Yeah. So you guys have been with the wit for 4 years now. With everything that's been happening in the news recently, especially the past few years, how has the news developed? Is it such a drastic change? Like, is it just normal workflow for you guys? Is it more or less? What's going on with that?
Yeah, the name of the game now, which wasn't really the case like 3 years ago, is speed. And
Yeah.
also, it's always been accuracy, but mostly speed and just how quickly you can get something up to the public, either online or in print. And it's tricky now because everyone is taking their news from online sources or TV, and print it's fading, but that's why you see all these big, newspapers in New York and everywhere else in the world. Just they're adapting to an online medium.
Yeah.
And so that's really what we've been trying to push for the last couple of years now, is like having people watch videos about our stories, or live tweeting while we're at an event and then linking those live tweets to an article online.
That's a really great idea
yeah.
because technology nowadays is really taking over.
Yeah.
How do you guys actually physically print this? What type of printer system do you use?
So we actually outsource our printing to a company in Philadelphia. It's Evergreen Printing. Or sorry, Pennsylvania, not Philadelphia. Well, yeah. Anyways, but yeah, we outsource it and we finish our layout on Wednesday evenings, usually around 10 o'clock-ish, and then we call up Evergreen and they deliver by 9:15, and then two of our staff members will go around campus and just drop off stacks of the paper in essentially every hall on Rowan's campus.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
it's the paper route's fun.
Yeah, I mean, I've definitely seen these around in Bosworth Hall many times before. It's nice to look at, see what's going on in the news, especially when I'm just waiting for my next class. Speaking of reading the news, I mean, so many stuff is happening every day. It's almost hard to keep up with all the news that's happening. So when you guys publish your paper, how do you determine what is a priority over everything else? Like, what's the conversation when it comes to stuff like that?
That's usually up to editors like myself. We kind of just decide like what is the biggest story of the week. So if you kind of like, if you'll open the front page and you'll see, you know, our top story last week was, you can show the camera too, SGA, because SGA is always kind of changing the way school works, and we also have our Board of Trustees session, and that's, you know, it's the news that people want to hear and people want to talk about and they need to know goes in the front, and then you have, you keep going, you go to op-ed, and that's our columns, mostly about politics.
Okay.
This is still news, but
It's all good.
there we go.
Wow, there's a line here.
Yeah, oh yeah.
You guys do a lot of work, that's for sure.
Yeah, we increased our page count from last semester.
Really?
Yeah, we have 4 more pages, or 1 more page per section now.
So how many
wow.
pages overall is the paper, actually, speaking of that?
Please edit this. It is now 20 pages.
20 pages,
Wow.
wow, that's a lot of information.
Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, and this is actually my layout from last year. We had, we just covered our review of the new Pliables that opened on Rowan Boulevard.
Wow, that's amazing, yeah.
And yeah, and there's that 22-ounce hamburger from
Wow.
the Marketplace cafeteria.
Wow.
I've never seen that, that's
I didn't know
crazy.
they had that.
That's awesome.
Wow, that's crazy.
And then toward the back, you get Arts and Entertainment, which just opened up a new art gallery at 301 High Street. It's not in this issue. It's coming out this Thursday, though.
Okay.
And then you have sports all the way in the back. Thank you for holding this, by the way.
Absolutely. it's easy to hold. Oh, look at that. It's
coming
easy,
apart.
It's easy to
Those
hold once you
staples.
hold it in front of you. But yeah, no, absolutely. So here. Wow, yeah.
Yeah. And then at the end we have our. Oh, yeah, and this is our hockey.
The hockey sports, yeah.
Yeah, we had some pretty crazy coverage with the Eagles. Soak it in, Philly.
Oh,
Eagles.
absolutely.
Yeah, and then our last page. It's
Wow.
just also that.
I like the vibrance of that, it really pops. Is this
absolutely.
like all you, or is it like how many writers contributed to like writing like articles like overall?
It varies from week to week. Usually, we have I have 1 or 2 staff writers cover a story, and then I'll maybe write the last couple, or I will assign a story to or I'll assign a writer for every story we have in the week. Usually, I try and get about like 5 or 6.
Absolutely.
And then they just all send it to me throughout the week, and we try and post online every day. So there's always something new for people to check in on our website, but not always. So.
Speaking of your website, besides the paper, where can people find you guys online?
You can actually find us on social media at The Wit Online. So it's just The Wit Online.
Okay.
And we're on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Cool.
Wow.
Very awesome. Well, thank you guys for being on the show.
Thank you guys so
Thank you very
much.
much.
Thanks for having us.
It was good to have you guys on. Coming up after the break, we've got Victoria Todorova and Danny Mincho with this week's Word on the Street. Don't go away.
Season
34.
We back.
We are, and we're better than ever. We're what on earth? Back and better than ever. We're tackling new topics. We're going to new locations,
New people,
new people,
new faces,
new faces. For instance, this
new socks.
new socks, new outfits. Dude, look at my outfit right now. This is insane. That's actually too much. Yes.
think mine's a
wow,
little bit
yes,
better.
Very much.
To be completely honest.
Well, you know, if you think.
I'm sending Danny to the Eagles parade because go Eagles.
Go birds.
So let's.
And all we ever did was step up, love each other more, grind more, and have more fun than anybody in the league. And believe this is for the city of Philadelphia. That's right. Straight up. So one more time, we gotta hear from y'all.
Welcome back. So that parade was absolutely crazy, and I think that we're in the street only gives us a small taste of what was actually going on. And speaking of the parade, that is actually our first hot topic for today, which is about the Eagles winning the Super Bowl and the aftermath and the parade and everything.
It was their first Super Bowl win.
First Super Bowl
Crazy.
victory. It's
The
crazy.
Philly fans were crazy about it.
Ecstatic.
Yeah.
When after the game had just ended, and people were just blaring their car horns outside. It was like 10:30
Yeah.
at night. People were just blaring their car
Yeah,
horns.
even, like,
Fireworks were
around
going
here.
off in the backyard. It was crazy.
Yeah.
Um,
I've never seen like so much enthusiasm like amongst like fans. Like
Yeah.
every fans, like all fans are always like very enthusiastic about like their team winning, but
Yeah.
these Philly fans were really happy
Really-
for their team.
Yeah, really
Yeah.
into it. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of crazy things going on. Then you got the fans that are doing the car horn, so that was okay. Then you got like some people that were like pushing over cars.
Yeah,
and, like,
people jumping off poles.
the poles. There was
They're
one guy who
crazy.
ate like horse poop, I think,
Oh,
like off
wow.
the street. Yeah,
I didn't know
but
that.
They're like they're like the minority. The majority of the people
Yeah.
are just like pure Philly fans. It was
Yeah.
great, and you see the parade, you see all the
Mhm.
enthusiasm out there.
Yeah. Did you get a chance to
And-
go to the parade?
No, I didn't.
Yeah,
I
me
had class.
neither.
I wasn't able to go.
An Uber there was like $113. I heard
Really?
it was crazy to
Wow.
get into this like transportation into the city.
Yeah,
was
absolutely.
crazy, and it was packed there. It was literally packed from what some people had told me.
Yeah.
So it's
Wow.
crazy.
When I watched the news that day, there was like, just like a sea of people in Philly.
I know.
It was such a sight to see
Crazy.
because even Philly's big, but when you really see like all the people there like together, it's like amazing. And
it
they're
really is
all-
insane.
And they're all rooting for the same team.
Oh
you
yeah,
know, it's
yeah.
just awesome.
They're very excited about it. And
Yeah.
like speaking of sports, our next hot topic is the Olympics.
Oh, the Olympics.
Gotta love the Olympics.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm more of a fan of these Summer Olympics. I'm really excited to watch that in 2 years. But the Winter
Yes.
Olympics so far have just been amazing. The first big report that I saw was from the ice skating, how one of the American performers did like a triple axis, which
Yeah.
I'm not too familiar with how the sport works, but apparently it's like a huge feat that she accomplished.
Yeah, I heard that, and that's like really great for USA. And like
Yeah.
we're actually doing really good. We're tied in second for gold medals.
Wow. Yeah.
Behind the Netherlands, I think. We
Wow.
have 3 gold medals currently, so that's like really great for us. I mean, we're usually up there, so
Yeah,
it's good to
absolutely.
keep our status, you know?
I'm sure we'll, as the days go on, we're going to go up and up and up from here.
Mhm.
I have full confidence in our team. It's always great to watch a little bit. It reminds me that I should be working out. I
Yeah.
should be like doing something.
Yes.
But I mean, it's always so much fun to watch, especially when you have a group of friends just chilling and watching the Olympics, rooting for. It's one of the only times where like we're all like united, like truly united, rooting for literally the same team. 'cause
That's
you're not
very
gonna vote against
true.
your own country.
It really brings our country together
Yeah.
and like shows like patriotism.
Absolutely,
And
yeah.
like it's really like cool to have that like amongst the country, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's really
Absolutely.
great.
And our last hot topic, which is not related to sports, is the Black Panther premiere. It's coming out February 16th, and from what I read, it's supposed to reach $165 million in its opening weekend.
Wow, that's insane.
That's insane.
And like a lot of my friends are like going to see it, so they had to buy like their tickets in advance because they said it would definitely be sold out if they
Yeah.
went like presently and tried to buy the tickets.
Oh.
That it would be completely sold out, especially like the night of the premiere and stuff.
Yeah,
You know?
I forget. You if you try buying a ticket now, you're not going to get anything.
Yeah.
You have to
Oh,
wait
no.
at least a week to go
Yes.
see the movie.
Definitely.
What I'm most excited about this movie is that, from what I've seen, it takes place right before Infinity War.
Mm-hmm.
This is where they introduce the last Infinity Gem and start introducing that plot point. And that's,
Mm-hmm.
I'm so excited for Infinity War. I'm excited to graduate. I'm more excited for
For that.
Infinity War. I'm excited to see where they take the story.
Yeah. Is Black Panther your favorite Marvel hero?
I'm not really familiar with the comics and all that much, but when I saw him in Civil War, I was like, wow, this is great. But what I really love is Captain America is my
Wow.
favorite.
Good guy.
Yeah, it used to be Iron Man because he started the whole cinematic universe, and the first time I really saw Robert Downey Jr. act. And I was like, whoa, this is awesome. But I really like Captain America. I mean, he is America,
Yeah.
essentially.
That's true. Talk about patriotism.
Yeah, exactly. He's all about that, and like now that he's like an outcast now, and seeing how he handles that, and like what his role now is in the grand scheme of things, is interesting because he may be like super strong, but he's still a dude.
Yes,
You know, he's not
exactly.
invincible. He's not like the Vision or Thor. You know, he has his limits. So.
Yeah.
Who's your favorite? Like, who do you like the most?
Probably I would say Deadpool. I like him. I like those movies, like the series too, and
Yeah.
also Spider-Man, classical. But everyone loves Spider-Man. I mean,
Yeah,
like, come on.
absolutely.
But
I mean,
yeah.
Spider-Man's been through so much, especially in terms of the rights for Spider-Man. It's been through so much.
Yeah.
It went from 3 different iterations of it. It's finally, when Sony did the one with Tobey Maguire, I liked it. That's what I grew up with. And they did Andrew Garfield, and I was like, okay. And I was like, we still haven't like hit it. And then I was worried because I hear they're gonna do it again. I'm like, please don't like do it the whole thing again. They're like,
Yeah.
hey, we're teaming with Marvel. I was like, they got it. Like, they finally got it.
Yeah. Wow. That's.
And
I don't know. I like superheroes, but you like love them.
I'm super into it. I'm not sure on the comic. I love the films.
Yeah, no,
That's
they
what I'm
actually
into.
do really always produce good films. Like
Yeah.
for every superhero, they really do. They do
Yeah.
a great job at it.
From a filmmaker's perspective, from a writing perspective, it takes so much effort to make sure everything, especially because you have all these different movies, all these different characters and everything. You got to make sure, like when you're writing the next movie, that it makes sense with everything else that's happened.
Exactly.
Like you can't just write Black Panther without knowing everything else that's
Yeah,
happened.
because you have prequels and sequels, and like it all has to correlate together, and it's like really hard to
Yeah.
have to do that, especially like as like a writer. I mean,
with every
can
other
imagine.
with
Yes.
every single movie, there's like small pieces from the other films that go into the next one. So yeah, that's why. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it.
that's really.
So that's all we have for you today. I'm Tom Viola.
And I'm Emily Render. Thanks for tuning in, and have a great week.